Welcome to the What Now podcast. I'm Darryl Elliott, and I'm here with the Avengers, our dream team, Archbishop Darel Chase, Myneca Ojo, and Regi McClurkin. Before we get started today, we want to make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to all of our channels here on Believe Broadcasting. Please hit that like button, say something, do anything that helps us get more attention and more hits into the algorithm. And I do want to express our appreciation. We're seeing the views go up. That's always a good thing. Thank you all so much. Keep on telling someone. But a lot of you who watch are not subscribed. So please make sure you do subscribe. That makes a big difference. Well, we're going to move on. And I'd like to say hello to all of our people here. Hey, guys, how you doing today?
Hey. Hello to everyone.
Good to see you all today.
Yes.
We have a lot going on still. It seems like every week we come on, I have to say there's a lot going on.
So much.
We know what era we're living in now, so let's get to it.
We're living in the last day.
Yes.
So I want to start with the Texas legislators, the legislature at the direction of the governor, under the direction of President Trump, have fled. The Democrats fled the state because the Republicans, under that direction, have decided to further injure the map because it's already gerrymandered.
Diabolical.
And now they're going to gerrymander until they fall out. This is a gerrymander. I don't want to say it, but Archbishop is listening right now. It's a gerrymandering party, y'all. There it is. And we are now in a situation, and what I'm putting up is the response of California's governor, Gavin Newsom, saying that he's going to respond in kind because he said, hey, I got a big state too.
He can do it. He can do it.
So I have the power to gerrymander my state, and to add to that, Governor Pritzker in Illinois said, hey, I got a pretty big state too. So if
it's a lockdown, baby.
If this goes forward,
California,
what could happen if the full-scale war takes place? The Democrats could basically take 30 seats in Congress because of population. See, we have to understand that the House works on population and the Senate works on just the number of each state. So now internally, there can be an advantage to Republicans because of land. But because we have denser cities and those cities are more diverse and have voted more Democrat or whatever, that's where we can end up getting this imbalance. And the Democrats have held off for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
They let them gerrymander about 3 or 4 times. Yep. And they've lost elections over it. But now they're saying we have to do it or we will never, ever have a chance of having a fair shot at taking control of Congress. So I'm going to play this clip and then we can have a little discussion on the other side. And we're going to discuss, is this the right thing to do? So hold on.
Fight deep in the heart of Texas, which could decide who controls Congress after next year's midterms. That's nationwide consequences, and it's getting even more urgent as state Democratic lawmakers have now fled the state entirely. They bolted to Illinois, Boston, New York. On Sunday, it was a last-ditch effort to delay voting on a new congressional map ordered by President Trump in Texas. And it would give Republicans another 5 seats in next year's midterm elections.
We did not make the decision to come here today. We did not make that decision lightly. But we come here today with absolute moral clarity that this is absolutely the right thing to do to protect the people of the state of Texas.
The move denies the Texas legislature a quorum, blocking Republican efforts to pass the new gerrymandered map during a special session. Now, Governor Greg Abbott is lashing out, accusing Democratic lawmakers of abandoning their offices. He's threatening removal. State Attorney General Ken Paxton goes even further, suggesting the lawmakers should be arrested, adding, quote, "We should use every tool at our disposal to hunt down those who think they're above the law." Joining me now on this Monday in the group chat, Stephen Collinson, CNN politics senior reporter, Sarah Fisher, CNN senior media analyst and senior media.
So I want to stop there for a second, because we're getting into, I don't want to get into their analyzation. So this brings context, is that the legislators have left the state to deny them the ability to trigger their vote, because you must have a certain amount of people present to take a vote. So they made sure that they left the state, and they went primarily to Illinois, and I think someone to New York, I heard.
They all over the place.
They're all over, yeah.
Yeah, you see,
Yeah,
catch me if you can, right? Catch me if you can.
you ain't gonna get us all in one fishbowl, that's for sure.
So this is one.
I'm not sure why they didn't go to California, though. Maybe there's an extradition.
I would like to see them try to arrest. I would like to see them try to go to these states and get and effectively execute an arrest warrant or extradition, because they're going to states that are already protecting them. So,
how about a real arrest warrant for the person that's causing all of these issues?
well, there are 34. There are 34 convictions upon that person. So, you know, well, that we'll talk about that later. But yes, this is really something. This is really something. I have a question. I have a question though. Is this the right thing to do? Is it the right thing to do? One, for them to leave, to deny quorum, and then secondly, and it didn't play. I'm sorry, I didn't play it. Gavin Newsom, and now Governor Pritzker, and then other governors. I believe Westmore is considering, though Maryland has smaller people to offer. But hey, everybody's welcome in this party now. Is it the right thing to do to further break the system to save the system? That's what I would call it. This is there's been an argument. The Democrats are now participating in the breaking of the system, but people are saying it's already broken. So we might as well, we're in a different warfare now. So this requires us to understand our enemy and fight that enemy with proper tools. So I'm gonna bring in today. I want to bring in who I call our moral trumpet, Regi. Regi is our moral trumpet, y'all. I want Regi. How do you feel about this? Do you feel that we should just let them go ahead and break the system to try and save the system?
You know what? Okay. You know what? Before I start, Archbishop, cover me with the blood, okay?
Now, when you have to do the Father, Son, Holy Ghost, it's time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? This is, I'm so glad you said that, Brother Darrell. The bottom line is this. You know what? I am just so sick of the fact, the way I see it, from where I sit, where I'm seated, it's all about racism 101. And to see the fact that the Democrats have year after year after year sat back with on their hands, watching all these things unfold and never did respond accordingly. And now here we are, like I said, they're feeling about, broke it, got to break it. No. It's time to fight fire with fire. It's time to take off our little banter of trying to say like, hey, let's all get along. No. It's time to open, what Malcolm said, by any means necessary. It's time for us to stand tall and fight and don't back down. Because you know what? At the end of the day, I am convinced, excuse me, I'm convinced that there are more out of that 77 million who voted for this man in this last election. More than 2/3 of them have expressed outrage at their vote. They're having buyer's remorse. Now is the time that we can get something done. Now is the time that things can really be cemented in the sense of forever. Excuse me.
Bless you.
My allergies are killing me today.
Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah,
No.
the moral thing is right now, even as a believer and follower of Jesus Christ, I'm like, to heck with all of that right now. Not to heck with you, Father God, but I'm saying to heck with trying to play nice guy. To heck with trying to still play checkers while they're doing strategic chess moves and that. It's time for us to go ahead and take the authority that we rightfully have, because at the end of the day, they know it's more of us than it is of them. And that's why they're doing all these things, just so that they can maintain control, maintain power, and have it for the next 10, 20 years. If we don't do it now, we'll never have this chance. Like, I don't think there will ever be no opportune moment like it is right now. So it's time to fight fire with fire, and whatever collateral damage in the fallout, so be it. But it's time to get it done.
All right. I'm going to.
That's the nice version.
Yeah, you did good that time. I'm going to bring in Archbishop. He's going to give us contextualization.
Exactly.
Looking at this and we have to go through the course of history, and we have to look at, not so much in the states themselves, but how many times have we seen the Republican Party gerrymandering in the Senate, in the Congress? How many times have we seen that? In my lifetime, I've seen it quite often. And if this is the way that we have to utilize in order to stop some absolutely ridiculous nonsense that is going to impact people of color especially, then yes, use the tools at our disposal. I don't think that this is anything other than a racial issue.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with Reggie on that. I agree wholeheartedly. This whole thing, this whole MAGA nightmare is a racial issue.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't wake up and smell the coffee on it and stop kowtowing and saying, can't we all just get along and have a kumbaya moment? No.
Mm-hmm.
They came in and they attacked blackness, brownness, and yellowness, redness head on as soon as this guy got in office.
That's right.
Okay. And what they wanted to do is they wanted to go back to a Nixon and Reagan mentality, which Nixon did the war on crime and Reagan did the war on drugs. But what they both really did was they criminalized being black and minority.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And poor.
Yes. So if we have to utilize what is at our disposal, which is, hey, you want to know something? I'm going to prevent you from having the opportunity to vote. How many times have we been denied the right to vote?
Mm-hmm.
How many times has that happened?
Mm-hmm.
How many times have Black and Latino and Asian voices in our state systems, Congresses and Senates, how many times have they been silenced? Let's just look at the last couple of years down in Tennessee, where they silenced those two young men who this is the kind of mentality we're dealing with. Okay, so America has not changed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I want you to understand something. When they say red, white, and blue has to do with their blood,
Mm-hmm.
okay, their whiteness, okay, and their blue because they got us here.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't wake up and smell that coffee and actually own up to it and say, hey, you want to know something? Now I'm going to use your system against you
Yep. Yep.
because
Yep.
it's not our system.
Yep. Yeah, no, boy, and I'm gonna touch on that point right there. Just that.
Yeah.
That exactly.
It was
Madam
never
Mayor.
meant for us.
You
Yes.
know I'm ready.
I put you on cleanup today.
Right.
Here,
Yeah.
here
So,
comes the lady Bobby Bonds, y'all.
yeah,
Just sit
because
back.
I am actually going to speak from authority. So
Uh-huh.
even though I've been in Pennsylvania and I've been in this region for 20 years, my backbone, everything that I know about politics, I learned in Texas. And I know Texas like the back of my hand. I know the maps, I know everything, and I try to keep up, with this. First of all, let's just talk about gerrymandering. It is an illegal process. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
redistricting is the legal process. Gerrymandering is the illegal process when you manipulate the map to support either one party or the other. Okay.
Exactly.
And there was a time where we had some decorum. We had respect for each other's party because we always knew we could come back,
Right.
and get them at one time or another. Let me just say, this gerrymandering that they're doing in Texas is outlandish, but it's something they've been doing for quite a while. And this is like the third time, and probably in the last 20 years, I've seen the legislature walk out or move or go someplace else because the governor calls a special session. But I want to talk. I want to address the House of Representatives because I actually worked on the House floor with the Texas House of Representatives under the George Bush administration. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
so I met with many of those state representatives on a daily basis because I actually signed the bill. I actually assigned bill numbers to their particular resolutions that came through that would eventually become acts and then
Right.
become bills and become acts of the House. So I'm very familiar with that particular process. So in Texas, unlike Maryland and everything, the legislature is part time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they
Oh.
only come into session every odd year. And they only
Oh.
come into session for 140 days. Representatives, when they come into office, are only paid $700 a month. They're paid, they get a budget for their staff and the
Right.
regional staff, but they only get $700 a month and the expense, account that goes along with them. So it's very different than the full-time legislature that you see in Pennsylvania or one that you see here. So
Right.
really at that point there's some issues in terms of is it even fair? Because who could really afford to be a legislature in the session and be able to support that region for $700 a month is very difficult. It's a labor of love, but it's
Right.
usually people that are that have the means necessary to get in there. So what Abbott has done? We're in session now. This is 2025. He called the session. So the Texas Constitution requires the governor. The governor can call a special session at any time after the legislative session. That be a part of the legislative session. So he has 30 days to get people in, but he has to have a quorum. And so the quorum aspect of it is the part that we need to center on. And the reason why we need to center on that is because that is how you get the gentleman agreements. That is how you get the cooperation from your other respective legislators to go along with the redistricting ideas. So many of them state, Joe Jones came up, State Representative Joe Jones, who I'm just beginning to know, said that she was actually placed on the redistricting committee, but they never called a meeting, but they sent her a notation just prior to the redistricting meeting, which is really the gerrymandering meeting. And so when she got there, they had already drawn these crazy lines and so on and so forth to really essentially knock out these five legislators that they've done. But I want to again center around the fact of why government works. It works because there are checks and balances in place. You have to establish a quorum according to the Texas Constitution so you can pass a bill. So going and arresting your colleagues or trying to attempt to arrest your colleagues, serving a warrant that you know you can't serve in New York or Florida or in, you may be able to serve it in Florida. In Illinois, I don't know about California. I think there may be some kind of extradition agreement with California and Texas, reason why they probably didn't go there. But this is the reason why we have those checks and balances in place so that doesn't happen. But for them to do the redistricting, and they have been doing it all along. They've done it with the Texas House of Representatives, the Senate, and the congressional districts. They have been doing this for a very long time. It's become problematic, and it's systemic for them to really believe that they'll take control. But for them to really be able to take control, they'll have to change that constitution. And I think that is not going to be able to happen. So that's one thing about it. They're going against their own agreement. They're going against, the Republicans are going against their own constitution and drawing these lines because these lines are clearly discriminatory. And if you're knocking out 5 people, so now that Jasmine Crockett, with the way the lines are drawn now, no longer lives in her district, she can't be voted in, right? Okay, so the way her district is actually drawn in, they would have to, they could draw her out of the district, but she would still win if she ran in the district that she's in. So Dallas, I'm not too concerned about. But I also want to preface the fact, too, that in politics, in Texas politics, they have always relied on this gentleman agreement to keep power. I've always said that Texas Democrats are not really, we have a lot of people that are devoted to the party in Texas Democrats, but I worked in Texas politics for a very, very long time. And this all really started when they started allowing Republicans to run the party that all of a sudden turned over to Democrats. You don't have bona fide Democrats in there. You have bona fide people that are considered Democrats on paper, but they're not supporting the Democratic Party because there are a couple of ways that they can get around this gerrymandering whole situation. Not only is they going to go to court, but in the very same way that the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program had been justified in every single state transportation agency that I have worked with as a diversity, equity, and inclusion director, what you do is you put out a disparity study, which they wouldn't have, which the legislature, the Democrats wouldn't have time to do, but you need to have a disparity study on the state that outlines what these redistricting, what this gerrymandering is doing, because it's not redistricting, and what it does and how it serves their individual system, in individual districts. And what does it do? Because does it make sense to really bring in Bryan College Station into the Houston area? It doesn't make sense to do that. But they have done it. They have done something very similar so that they can capture the more conservative votes and make the district so vast and everything that it's not even connected to each other. Like whatever happened in Houston is not really happening in Bryan College Station. So you have this representation that is serving, not only are they serving like the major part of the state, but they're serving like these major rural areas that are not even really connected to each other. So what my concern is I wholeheartedly support the Democrats. I believe if they're not playing fairly, then they shouldn't play fairly either. And I'm really upset of the 5 Democrats that decide to stay around. One of them is, and I'm gonna call him out, Richard Raymond. I remember him when I was in the House of Representatives, and he was shaky then. He was a shaky Democrat then, and he's obviously shaky now. So he's, he showed up. And maybe somebody did need to show up to hear what they're talking about. But what this does is this puts Governor Abbott in a very precarious position because he has lost total control of this legislative session. He's lost it. Because when the Democrats don't show up and they don't have the quorum, you can't vote on anything. All you're doing is just showing up.
And they can hold up the whole process and
that is the
time
whole,
them out.
Exactly. And that is the reason why cooperation is essential for both parties, so that you don't have anything that's happened. So who's at the total lack of benefit in this whole process? It's Texans. It's people in Texas. We are the ones that are held off, because it's not only that law that is not going through, it's other laws that are not being passed because there's not a quorum.
Well, I'm gonna give you guys a little context for where I come from, my perspective. I have 4 kids. I have 4 great kids. Love them all. But they're all, they're pretty different. All of them played sports, and my older three are closer to me when it comes down to being on the field. What you got to know about me in sports is, if you want to see me at my pettiest, see me on a field or a court. If we're playing a certain way, and it might be a little dirty, a little rough, I'm like, all I'm gonna say is, okay, this is what we're doing today. And if it means I'm going to put you on your behind today, because this is how we're going to play, because what you're not going to do is push me around on the field or on the court. My youngest, he's really a beautiful soul. He really is. He faced it. He faced being, kids saying things to him on the field and all this other stuff. And I told him, I said, look, you have to learn that when you play, sometimes you got to know your opportunity to send a message, and I told him that, and you have to kind of toughen your kids up in life. And I said, you have to know how to send a message and understand what the game is dictating for the moment and the time. I'm saying this because right now, if this is the way they're choosing to play, we should not allow them to just keep taking people out of the game from our team.
Exactly.
This is a way of taking people off the field. This is a way of creating such an imbalance that we will have no chance of competing. And I'm sorry, audience, I'm going to apologize in advance, but I am a bring a bazooka to a knife fight kind of guy. I mean, I'm not going to let you just do anything. If I'm coming, I'm coming to win, and I'm coming to win decisively. I am here. If this is what we're doing, I'm here to take your entire lunch. And if we can at least get over this hump, the hope is that the Democrats can dictate now how we can pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act.
Right. Police Reform Act.
And maybe we can get a Democratic president. And I wish at this point, I've been very silent about it, but I wish Joe Biden did pack the Supreme Court.
Yeah. Thank you.
And if I was Joe Biden, I would have put 30 Democrats on there. Yeah. That Supreme Court would have been so packed. they would repeal every racist. Yeah. I mean, right now we have to understand the opponent. The opponent doesn't care about playing fair, nor do they support our form of government. They don't support our form of government. This is the thing, and we've been working off of this premise as if we have some good Republicans that will work with us, but we don't realize that these people are under, the ones that would work with us can't, because now they are in fear of the ramifications of working with, anyone other than Donald Trump. So as far as I'm concerned, do I wish for it to be this way? I really don't. But since we're here, Since we're here, we need to put them on their behind on the field.
Thank you.
So so we really need to come center to ethics, and what really centers people around ethics is really law. It's
Right.
some type of decorum. In the
Right.
Christian religion, it's the Bible.
Right.
Well, it says it in the Bible that I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to get my
Mm-hmm.
here.
That's all right. Myneca getting ready to take it to church, y'all.
All right.
She getting ready to set me. She getting ready to set us right, y'all. She gonna put us. She gonna center us. Go ahead. Come on, preacher. But
I mean,
yeah,
you gotta believe in something, right?
yeah, you have to believe in something.
Yeah. But let me just say one thing right now, and I apologize. I thought this computer would last me throughout the time.
No, you're all right.
But yeah, it centers around church. So that's what brings us to the center. Is that there's something biblical, your 10 commandments, so on and so forth, that you abide by.
Right.
This is the exact same way in government as well. The Texas Constitution is strong. It is clearly stated. It is there. And what I want you to know right now is that Governor Abbott is not winning because he does not have that quorum.
Right.
He is not winning. So
Right.
at this point right now, Democrats are winning because there is no way they're going to go back and sit on that House floor and watch those Republicans override them in this gerrymandered map. It's not redistricting, it's gerrymandered so that they can knock out 5 seats and then have her run. They've been doing this for a while now.
So I got a question.
It's a long time.
I got a question.
Republicans are still in office in Texas.
I got a question. Should regardless of what happened, well, let me ask 2 questions. One question is, they can time this vote out with the quorum, right? They have 30 days. Is that correct?
They only have 30 days, but he can call sessions. He can call another session. He can keep calling sessions.
So he just keep rolling them over
until he is, he can keep doing it.
Well, they got a couple billionaires on their side. I mean, Pritzker is putting them up in the hotels, which he actually owns.
Yeah, but these people coming back. Remember, a lot of these people work, and
they have other obligations.
They have other jobs, and Jasmine Crockett, she's a full-time congresswoman, so this doesn't impact her. This is her job. But the state reps, they have jobs and they have things, and they're going to try to wait them out and hold them out. But he can call a session every 30 days.
So thinking that way, then should Governor Newsom and Governor Pritzker, Holcomb is different because their constitution kind of prevents her from doing it immediately. But the question is, those populist Democratic states, but she's talking about changing the constitution, and she can probably get that and make it happen immediately. Do they, regardless, should they move forward with just? What do you
again, it goes back to that gentleman or gentle ladies agreement that we're going to respect each other, we're going to respect, and we're going to draw those boundaries as they present themselves to be. And we know that there have been a lot of population shifts in the affirmative in Texas, so there are reasons to reasonably look at it. But when you specifically knock out 5 representatives, these are not, like 5 people out of their congressional districts. I mean, that is definitely placing them in a thing. The question is right now, if for some reason the Texas Democrats did go back and they voted and the Republicans did choose to take this map, they could take it to court theoretically. They could take court, but I would have us. But it depends on how those lines are drawn and where they have placed Jasmine Crockett. I have not looked. To see where Sheila Jackson Lee's seat, who, by the way, is unfilled because the governor has not selected anyone to go into the seat because he doesn't want to put a Democrat in that seat. After Sylvester Turner, may he rest in peace, passed away, that took over Sheila Jackson Lee's seat. He never placed anyone in there. So they're now waiting on the November election to do that. Houston's a little precarious because the way the lines are drawn in Houston, the way they've been drawing them around that area is they've probably separated Houston about 4 or 5 different directions where that they can partner up with these suburbs that are on the outskirts.
I mean, these areas are unrecognizable the way they're doing this. I mean, they're like I said, this is a gerrymander.
Yeah, but they've been doing it. They've been doing it for a long time. So this is not new for Texas, but the Texas Constitution does specifically state, and I want to read up on it, that that you must do your redistricting after the decennial, which is the census. After the census, that should have been done in 2023. So why wasn't it done in 2023? And why are we redrawing maps now? The Constitution doesn't allow them technically to draw it now. It should have been done in 2025. So I'm not sure the legal aspect as to why they're doing it in 2025, except it has something to do with Trump, or that they didn't do it.
Well, he blatantly said it. He said, "Give me 5 seats." Trump blatantly said it. He said, "Give me five seats."
Well,
he told Texas that.
But he did say that. But the way that Jasmine Crockett's lines, it doesn't necessarily take her out of her district. It may put her in another district where she'll have to run. The new district that she runs, she's in South Dallas. I know her district. They could potentially go with maybe cutting it out toward Fort Worth, Waxahachie, and some of the areas where West Texas, but these are less populated areas. So they can probably extend that district all the way out to Waco or, in some other areas to get the population of people that they need to be in that district. Because there's a certain amount of people, let's say it's 400,000, that needs to be in that district. But the question is, are the people in West Texas or Waxahachie the same? Do they have the same needs as the people that are in South Dallas? And the answer is no.
Well, another thing I heard.
Disparity studies need to come into play to see, are you handling the things just like where we are now in York County? We've seen those lines drawn. They've done some redistricting in York County too. And now I have a different state senator than Doug Mastriano. And but the lines have not drawn significantly to a point where it impacts us as African Americans. But if you look at York City, York is divided into 3 congressional districts. It's like at least 2 House districts or and 2 congressional districts, and that is solely done to to make sure that you don't have that guaranteed Democratic vote from the from the Black and the Puerto Rican population that inhabits that area there. So it's something that they always do. But when you go specifically to do something to knock out 5 people so that you can get 5 congressional seats, this is something that they've always done. But the fact is that they're not going to win. And Greg Abbott, how much money is he going to spend for a special session? Because it costs a lot of money to do these sessions. Now, remember, people go to work in the House of Representatives. When you are in the House of Representatives, you're only hired for that session. And so you have to keep hiring people. You have to keep the lights on. You have to keep the cafeteria open. You have to keep all the committee rooms, which it's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. Government is not working. And what people really need to appeal to, the fact is that government is not working. It doesn't matter. You can say that this is Democrat and Republicans, but Democrats could theoretically turn around and do the exact same thing to Republicans. And do you think it's fair? And the answer is no, it's not fair. But the fact is that the Republicans decide to leave town and go someplace else, then the Democrats wouldn't have a quorum. So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You have to center people in the middle of that. The system does work. We're not seeing the system work. And Abbott, it's time for him to go. Oh my God, I never did like Greg Abbott.
Yeah, we need him out of there.
I didn't like him as a judge. I never liked that man.
I want to bring this in here,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're going to go to the next topic. But we do understand, though, that this could backfire even if they did redistrict, because there's something that people call a dummy mander. They could end up so drawing the lines that it could backfire on them, that they could end up actually putting in jeopardy safe Republican seats as well, which they did have happened the last time I heard. You disagree with that, Myneca?
It depends on what you're looking at. If I'm looking at Houston, um, I would say not.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm looking at Dallas, I would say not, because where they're going to center a lot of that is around Houston, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, maybe a little bit, but the Hispanic voter, it's split like white folks, so they're like 50-50.
Hey, Hispanic.
Brown vote is like the white vote. It's split.
I want to shout out to the Hispanic people. I need you guys to kind of wake up here. They're coming for you. Just to let you all know.
We're not
so you might want to.
Yeah, my Mexican people up in Texas, they know they were there before the Americans, so they're not worried about any of that. They're not worried about that.
Right.
Many of them have more generations in Texas than
that's true.
the colonists there. So they have a whole mindset. You guys came to us. We didn't come to you. So,
that is
but
true.
what you do have is a strongly religious background of people, and you have some, you have a couple of congressional people that are part of the Republican Party. Some younger, there's a younger lady that's up there too, that's really firing them up and keeping it based and centered on the church, and so and really the whole argument is about abortion.
Right.
And so that, I keep you on we got to
get a whole podcast over the what I call the pro-life fallacy, the pro-life,
Yeah, as long as you can keep them on that, that's it. So in terms of the Hispanic vote, I love the fact that it's there. But remember, Hispanics, they're gonna split right down the center, just like white people do. So where you do have your solid votes is with the African Americans. That is that's it. And unless something changes, that will continue to be the same. That probably 90% of us are going to continue to vote in the Democratic Party, because we see what's happening with the Republican Party. Hispanics are, some of them that have been here 3 and 4 generations actually kind of they're Hispanic, they have the culture and everything, but they're split down the middle in terms of that. They're not on the same, a lot of them aren't on the same train that we are. They ain't going, they still going to Target, they still doing everything. They're not buying into the argument. So the Black and Brown coalition together kind of minimally meets, but then it separates. That's the problem with the Democratic Party in Texas, because even with the white voters, the white voters that are there, they're for a cause, okay? But their cause is not civil rights. Their cause is not, we want to make sure that we have representation because there's Medicaid and Medicare, even though they're all benefiting from it. It's not the civil rights argument. So, they're mute to that argument. The same with the Latinos as well. They don't really particularly care about the fact that ICE is coming down. They're like, well, they should be legal. And that's really a sad, I need to get some Hispanic people on, because really, I've seen them go after each other that way too. But you're in the
they'll definitely call on each other. They want to get them out of there anyway.
They'll go, he's a. I've heard them call those derogatory names that I won't call out. And think that there's a higher status because they were born and raised in this country. But but other people coming over, though, they can't come, that type of thing. So it's the same type of dynamic that goes on in Texas. So I kind of take them out of the argument because I know they're going to split. I've seen the elections. I know that they're going to split. They're not on the same page. Black people have a hell of a lot more to lose. And the reason why we have a heck of a lot more to lose is because we have done the fight. We've done the civil rights. We have made sure that all of those practices and everything in Texas is not continuing. And this is exactly what's going on here. So I do not believe that that if you move and redistrict that it makes some seats unsafe. I don't believe that. I believe that any movement outside of the urban areas can be potentially dangerous if there's populations of people. This is where Dallas, may be a little safer than Houston. I would pretty much imagine, because once you get outside of Houston, there's Vidor, there's Chandler View. Those there are areas that are known for high Klan activity, and they will participate because you're getting closer to Louisiana border and all of this area here. The fact is, gerrymandering is an illegal process. This is not redistricting. You're not making Texas better. You're trying to you're trying to gain power.
For the national landscape of it all, we have to be prepared, because whatever happens here can greatly determine a lot of years ahead. So we have to keep our eyes on it. Hey guys, I'm gonna jump over to a quick commercial, and then we're gonna be back. And guess what? Just because we have to, just because we should, we're gonna talk about Epstein, because we just gonna keep saying that name until something happens. All right, so I'm gonna meet you on the other side.
Okay.
In a world where convenience meets diversity, there's one marketplace that stands out from the rest. Welcome to Firecart, your ultimate destination for all things shopping. At Firecart, we believe in bringing you not just the everyday essentials, but also a curated selection of cultural and handmade products that celebrate diversity and craftsmanship from around the globe. Whether you're looking for the latest gadgets, trendy fashion pieces, or one-of-a-kind artisanal creations, Firecart has you covered. Our diverse range of products caters to every taste and preference. But that's not all. Introducing our exciting affiliate program, Firestarters, where you have the opportunity to earn money by being a Firecart seller or by referring customers through your affiliate link with generous commissions. Imagine making passive income simply by sharing products you love with your friends and followers. With Firecart, it's not just about shopping, it's about building your own success story. And here's the kicker. During our exclusive launch period, you can take advantage of discounted pricing and special perks available only to our founding members. So why wait? Join the Firecart revolution today and experience shopping like never before. Firecart, where every purchase ignites a world of opportunity. For more information, visit firecart.shop. Your journey to endless possibilities starts now.
Firecart is a subsidiary of Diadem Technologies, and we are really thankful and proud. We actually have some new creatives that are actually about to board the platform. We're really excited about that. Authors, speakers, and so we want you to make sure you check out Firecart. If you have an existing product or you're an emerging business, we're here to help you, and we would love to have you. All right, guys, I can't help it, but we're going to have to bring it up, because we're not going to act like that we forgot about those Epstein files. So now we have a whole slew of subpoenas. We got grand juries being seated. They're going after Senator Adam Schiff. They're going after a bunch of former Trump administration people, have them coming in for depositions. They have former attorney generals coming in, from Jeff Sessions to Eric Holder, to investigate the whole everything. You name it, Russia, whatever. Let's just throw it all against the wall. And every now and then we get the obligatory Obama, and we're now at this point of that he's trying to time us out. However,
yeah.
What we need to bring up is that they did pass a resolution to subpoena the Epstein files from the Department of Justice. The Congress did approve that because by a slick move, the Democrats knew which congressmen were not going to be present to vote against it, to block it. And they got that vote in, and they now have 30 days to hand over the files.
That's right.
So guys, I can't say all what we're going to say about it, other than I know that this is the distraction. I'm just putting it out there because it's going to be in the title, so we can remember that we are waiting on those files. I've been fighting with people in the magosphere, and everything they've been saying about everything else. Now the latest distraction is Sydney Sweeney and her American Eagle. I don't even know everything about it. I guess she was being too sexy, and they want to celebrate how sexy and blonde she is. And I had to put on a post comment. I said, "Who cares? Where the Epstein files?" That was my whole answer.
Exactly.
Any distraction has been thrown up in our face to try and get our eyes off the ball. Especially this week, an old video surfaced of Donald Trump talking about how much he liked underage girls. So that came out today, not today, but a few days ago. That has been playing, where he actually brought up a young girl that may have just turned 18, but he talked about that those young girls was his drug addiction. So let's get into it for a couple shakes. What you got to say?
Pedophile.
What you thinking? What you thinking there, Reggie?
Well, you know what? I'm so glad to see the latest subpoenas, the round of subpoenas that's going up. And more than that, I'm so happy that this time around they did not let this get swept under the rug, because we know the Justice Department and Bondi and everybody else, they did everything they could. Because like I said, how stupid do they really think we are for somebody to come out and say everything is on my desk, and then because Trump rebuked her, then all of a sudden they've miraculously disappeared, and like the leprechaun man. So I'm just glad that everything is now being, like you said, the subpoenas are going up. They cannot get around it. That was a very bold move. That's the strategies that the Democrats should have been using and things like that to play the chessboard game as opposed to checkers. Because at the end of the day, I'm still going on record to say, I don't care what no one says. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but Jeffrey Epstein is not dead at all. He's not dead, because, like I said, I listen. I'm nowhere near that financial stratosphere of billionaire, but I'm very comfortable in things like that. And I know with what I just had, it's no way I'm going to commit suicide and let somebody else have the benefits of all of that money. Knowing that I can just say, like, okay, if I do have to go down, I'm taking everybody down on the ship with me. Because at the end of the day, you see what's happening. That's the other thing that ties in with this, Darryl, Myneca, and Archbishop Darel. Now look what they're doing with, what's the name? How do you say the name? Jeffrey Epstein's assistant.
Oh, Ghislaine.
Now she's been moved to a prison that's like a little camp now, a little country club and stuff like that. It's not no serious prison anymore. So you know what's getting ready to happen. They're going to be letting her out. I mean, all of that years, she got like 20 years or whatever it was. Not doing anything. And it's just amazing, right after her, meeting with who was Trump's one of his biggest lawyers before he was even appointed to the Justice Department. So because she's come in now and spilled some goods, and they know everything is going right back to Trump. That's why that video was released, like you were talking about, Brother Darrell. At the end of the day, the chickens are getting ready to come home to roost. And as much as people have tried to cover it up to protect and shield Trump, the house of cards is falling down there, because you have, every day I'm seeing more Republicans speaking out against this. And now, like I said, even this morning, I just saw on CNN they even subpoenaed Hillary and Bill Clinton and stuff like that. So the stuff is getting ready to hit the proverbial fan. And so I'm going to sit back, like I said, with my popcorn or my pork skins and see how it unfolds. Because at the end of the day,
and you can see Marjorie Taylor Greene trying to slide out the back of the door, and she's trying to jump on the other side of the fence here, saying that she's not up for all this stuff, you know. And
part of that QAnon, community. Those are her voters.
Right.
Yeah.
So she's a true believer with the QAnon side. So
she really is.
So she's like, look, I'm not so deep into Trump that I'm going to sit up here and just,
That's it. Yeah, your core values sometimes come out. And
yes,
she is really part of that community. Her and Brobert, I can't think of her name. Yes, they're part of that community, and they really believe it. But most importantly, that's where they get their votes.
Yeah.
So
But the question was, I listened to some commentary yesterday, and there are some people who still don't believe that this would be the undoing of Trump. They believe that the only true undoing of Trump, and this was from Chuck Todd, formerly of Meet the Press. Chuck Todd said that he believes that the real undoing of Trump is if the economy goes south. He doesn't know if Epstein is enough to erode, a significant amount of people from his base. But if the economy goes south, because that is the one perceived superpower, and he gave a good analogy or a good precedent to that, is that Joe Biden was known for foreign policy being his superpower. But once the withdrawal from Afghanistan was messy, he never recovered from that in his perception. So if your superpower fails you during your governing period, that could take you down. So what he's saying is that the Epstein stuff, it might give him some damage, but it won't take him down. What he thinks will take him down could be the economy, because
I think that's an odd analogy, but okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Those are apples to crackers analogy. I mean, that's it's a very different thing. But what I do believe about the QAnon community is that they're not going to support him. But the question is, how big is the QAnon community?
Right.
Yeah, so I know that's a substantial part of his base.
Now he's losing he's losing what we call the manosphere now. He's losing the Joe Rogan crowd. He's starting to lose them. Joe Rogan is openly saying things against them.
Yeah, but this is the thing. People can be redeemed. There's a level of redemption that people will give people if they maybe say that they're sorry or that they really didn't know. I mean, just anything, because if they want to support him, they will continue to support him as long as they appease him and apologize for whatever they think he may have done wrong. I mean, I'm still, with did you say Chris Todd?
With Chuck Todd.
Chuck Todd. Yeah, I'm kind of with Chuck Todd on that. The only thing is I don't agree with the analogy of Afghanistan and Biden and Epstein and this. This is totally different. This is it's a civil to criminal case that we're dealing with. That was policy. This is not even policy. We haven't seen any policy come out on Trump except the tariffs. I mean, that's the thing. We've gotten totally away from that. And this is the kind of conversation we need to be having when we're talking about the president of the United States, not his involvement, with underage girls and, and this bevy of relationships that he's had with Epstein. It's kind of crazy that you have to appeal to someone's moral character, but yet and still you don't appeal to them when humans are being taken away from out of their
Yes,
cars, out
yes,
of their homes,
right.
families being broken up, people just being shipped to other countries that they've never been to before,
Yeah.
with no cause for them, with no civil rights
Mm-hmm.
that's done. Why doesn't that appeal to you? That if someone else, if it's happening to someone else, that could possibly happen to you. But yet and still, you're wondering about something that he's been doing for the past 20 years,
Right.
with some underage girls. You really, they
I
really need to
have a
kind of check
I have
themselves
a theory. I
this.
have a theory. I have a theory on that, and I'm gonna tell you what the theory is. When one is living or in a house of cards, or let's just call it a Jenga tower, what could happen is a key component can be pulled out and the whole thing come down. What I'm saying is that all of a sudden we may get this newly found consciousness from people
Right.
on those topics if you lose enough support on this topic. And it's almost this thing because when you're dealing with a cult of personality, right? They go with what the personality wants to go with. So if they're no longer on board with them, all of a sudden people find Jesus. I mean, they just find they are enlightened, and all these horrible things he really did, and I wasn't really for child separations or whatever. We hear this whole new concerto from people that we see in human behavior, not based on real policy beliefs or political beliefs, but more or less they got wrapped up into our character. Does that make? Let me and Myneca, I'm gonna let you respond to that, but let Archbishop speak.
Yes,
Speak on that
please.
for a second. Yeah. Go ahead, Bishop.
I
That's ready.
you know, I think we've got to really figure out that this guy prays, and I'm not going to call him this guy because I don't have uh, any respect for him as a person. Uh, but he preys on the uneducated and undereducated. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you what that really means.
Mm-hmm.
Because the uneducated and undereducated have been the base that have thwarted progress
Mm-hmm.
for these past 50, 60 years. Okay. They are the ones that they go to so that they can get the numbers and so on and so forth. So, it's almost like this guy is playing the Wizard of Oz, and he's saying, "Don't look at the guy behind the curtain,"
Mm-hmm.
you know. But here we are. We've got to figure something out.
Mm-hmm.
This man is already a 34 count felon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's already no denying that. He is known to be. He got his nonprofit canceled because of fraud.
Right.
He duped people on a fake university.
Mm-hmm.
Intelligence spoke
Time
there.
and time and time again, he also has denied housing to people based on color.
Mm-hmm.
So, where do you go? You go to West Virginia, you go to Arkansas, you go to those places that are undereducated, and you say, "Hey, you want to know something? No, they're doing these things against us."
Mm-hmm.
And these people are so dumb,
Yeah.
okay, because they all they're worried about is what's going down at the Piggly Wiggly or the Farm and Dime, whatever it is. Okay, that's all they're worried about. but they're so stupid that they're not going to pay attention to what is going on with this particular person and his background, because, like you said, they're caught up in the person. They're caught up in his personality. They're enamored with that. Well, I'm going to tell you something. My scripture tells me that the very devil can appear as an angel of light. And that is exactly what you're seeing. Is you are seeing the devil personified.
All right.
And he's telling people everything's going to be fine, everything's going to be good. And in the meantime, he's taking their very life away. So where do we go from here? See, here's the reality. You know, I remember when we were, 25 to 30% of the population. Now we're a little under 14% of the population.
Exactly.
Okay, where do we go? I remember when, we tried to get along with these people. We went to school with them, people in our age bracket. We sat down. They came over our house. We went over their house, and they promised us that they would not do what their grandfathers and fathers did. And damn it, if they're not lying.
Yeah, we played that clip, didn't we, a while ago? Didn't we?
Yes. So here we are when we look at this person who's sitting in an office that they really can't handle because he's making some major international mistakes as well. Yes. I'm talking about big blunders. This is when we, as people, as the American people, and especially as African American people, have to want to know something. This is the best time for us to get up and get out. Get our own.
Well, let me jump in here. And I'm saving y'all the clip, but I may play it next week. There is a white-only community being built in Arkansas.
Oh, yeah. I heard about that.
No blacks.
Can we do
No
that what they did in Rosewood, or Seneca Village, or Black Wall Street? Can we do to them what they did to us?
They now I'm going to make sure I dedicate some good time for next podcast on this, because the funny part about this is nobody cares. Y'all go do you. And we, this time if we do us, don't come with your torches trying to burn down our stuff.
Well,
see, that's the thing, because they're saying, oh, we can celebrate if black people have their own community and everything. And Jamel Hill, if you all remember, from ESPN fame, she said, well, we did do that before, and you guys showed up and burned it down every time. So I will share the clips next week, and there's some good comedy from other people about it. But the short of it all is that we are saying that we can build our own as long as you stop meddling with our stuff. But because we drive so much in the culture, as a small percentage of population, we still drive American culture. So that's what makes us a constant target. That is our power. Our power creates culture. Our culture then dictates commerce. And that's therein where the problem is that because we are the drivers of culture, we are always in the crosshairs of those who are of the ruling class. and the ruling race. But I wanted to bring up Epstein by the mere fact that that this is something to watch, because it's going to shift, it's going to dictate a lot of the political climate in the next 6 months. Right. And the talking points that we're going to see rolled out. And not to mention, it's also triggered these crazy investigations. So I wanted to bring it up as a short. I want to jump off the top because we're short on time now. Okay. Myneca, I promised I was going to come back to you. You wanted to clean up anything on that topic?
Oh, no, absolutely not. I can't remember where we stopped at, but I remember thinking no, but no, I'm actually, done on that. I just wanted, just to reiterate that, decency is a wraparound process. It is not, you can be decent about one thing and not decent about the other. If you're a person that believe in humanity and you believe in God, then you believe in humanity. Right. Then you can't use religion to talk about him possibly sleeping with someone who was of legal age at 18 versus 16. I mean, it's just not the conversation that I want to have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So, guys, I want to jump. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I think they're ignorant and they're obedient at the same time. And so, and I will continue. Yeah, I will continue to bring that out too, that people will vote against their best interest if they are obedient and they believe that, people that support them believe in the same thing. That's what I have.
That, my friends, is the mere definition of a cult. Everybody, I want to jump to our last topic. I wanted to spend a touch on this. It's a follow-up to the drafting of Shadur Sanders, the son of Deion Sanders. Shout out to Deion. We're praying for you. He did just come out of a successful bladder cancer surgery. He has a new bladder, he says. But he was very forthcoming about this, so our hearts and prayers are out to him. But Shadur, his son, is an exceptional quarterback prospect coming out of Colorado. He fell in the draft, just for context for those of you who don't remember or did not hear that story. And he finally landed with the Cleveland Browns way late in the draft. He has been performing well. He basically has been the best quarterback in camp. He has more completions. He has more touchdowns. He's shown he's doing very well. But yet and still, they have all of these quarterbacks there, and he is the fourth string quarterback in the pecking order, which basically says you have no chance of getting a job. But because just for everybody to know, a lot of NFL teams don't even do 3 quarterbacks any longer. They do 2. They do 1 and a backup, and then an emergency quarterback who actually could be playing another position like wide receiver or running back or something like that. So a lot of NFLs do not retain 3 quarterbacks like they did in the 70s and maybe the 80s. So he is basically in no man's land. Now, in truth and context to the whole story, he will start the upcoming game, which is a preseason game, which we all say, Shadur, you're gonna have to go out there and look like Tom Brady, Joe Montana, and John Unitas, Lamar Jackson, all in one,
all wrapped in one,
to make them give you a job. God forbid if something just doesn't go as well. We all don't always perform our best on our first outing. So I wanted to give some context, but here I'm going to play a clip. I'm going to play a clip of the owner of the Cleveland Browns, which he actually said the thing out loud. And this is basically him saying, it wasn't my decision to draft them anyway, but here we are. and I let my guys do their job, but I'm just kind of letting y'all know I wasn't feeling it. Okay, so here we go. His name is Jimmy Haslam. He is the owner of the Cleveland Browns. And just to give you all context, he gave the first truly guaranteed contract to Deshaun Jackson that came from the Houston Texans after he had about 30 massage therapists come out against him for sexual assault or sexual whatever. And I think all the NFL owners kind of locked him up in a room and had to come to Jesus with him and told him, don't you ever do that again. And now you can see he has now had his lobotomy, and he is now fully lockstep with all the rest of the NFL owners. So here we go. Check out this clip.
46. We thought he was good value at 146. We have good process.
Oh, give me a second here. I'm trying to get this clip up. Give me one moment. Okay, here we go. This is Jimmy Haslam of the Browns.
46. We thought he was good value at 146. We have good process, okay? And if you'd have told me, let's see, we picked him on Saturday, right? Friday night driving home, y'all are going to pick Shadur, I would say that's not happening. But we had a conversation early that morning, and then we had a conversation later that day. I think we had the right people involved in the conversation. At the end of the day, that's Andrew Berry's call. Andrew made the call to pick Shadur. Just like who's going to start or what play we're going to call is Kevin's call. But that's Andrew's call. He made the call.
So here we go. What he's basically saying, that was their decision. If you told me we were going to pick him, I would have said, no way, hell would have frozen over. He was basically letting you know that there was nothing in his mind of drafting Shadur. So if he didn't draft him, he probably wouldn't have gotten drafted at all. He probably would be becoming a coach over with his dad. So guys, this is just a little follow up with that. I don't think that Shadur has a very good chance, barring some extraordinary event. But I did want to do a follow up with that because I think it was very telling that the owner did say the quiet part out loud. Archbishop, I'm gonna let you jump in on this one first this time.
I'm speechless. It's fourth round draft pick, fourth round. Put there by retaliation towards his father. He needs to go someplace else. He needs to go and go to somebody else's tryouts. While there's still time.
Shannon Sharp said that. He said he would be better to ask them to cut him.
Yep.
And then hit the street and see if he can land on the team.
Yep. Absolutely. That I agree with that wholeheartedly. I don't think where the Browns are a good fit for him.
Not
to
at
begin
all.
with. I don't think that they have his best interest at heart. I think that he's got to be in a place where he can shine. Like you said, all during this preseason, as well as camp and so on and so forth, he has been showing up and showing out. His percentages are higher, conversions, his touchdown rates are higher, so on and so forth. And he's been proving on the field that he can get the job done according to their playbook. The problem that we have is not what he can do or how he's performing. It has to do with who he is.
There you go.
Okay, and that to me. No, he needs to get out of there and go somewhere else where he can shine.
Guess what, everybody?
That's it.
What I didn't tell you all is that the academic statistics came out across college football. Do you not know Deion Sanders had one of the highest GPA teams in the NCAA?
That's right.
Okay.
So he's
They
now
had to.
right, and we don't realize his number one draft pick, his Heisman winner, Travis Hunter,
Right.
was a Dean's List student also.
Wow.
And so he's not only turning out high level athletes, but he's also turning out high character men.
Yeah.
So, but in all of that, he's still getting this kind of reaction within the NFL. Reggie. Go ahead, Reggie.
You know what? But the bottom line is this. See, again, hold my mule, Lord. Hold my mule. Hold my tongue. You know what? Again, I'm just at the point that I don't give a good flying darn.
Watch yourself.
Good job. Good job. I'm trying not to have to edit this video.
Okay. I really don't, because on the plantation, it's business as usual. It wouldn't matter if he was with the Browns. It wouldn't matter which team he. They had already colluded before the kid even was drafted. They wanted to bring him down a couple of pegs because this guy came in the door with having about 4 or 5 different multi-million-dollar endorsements. He came in the door with the swag and the flag of his dad. And so they still have issues with Deion, even in his state of being sick and going through all the health challenges he's going through. And to know that, first of all, see, I'm at the point, I'm trying to figure out a way that I can encourage the players who look like you and I, to do an all-out walkout boycott in opening season day. Because at the end of the day, this is no different what the plantation owners did back then when they would get the 2 bulls who were in their, plantation to go up against the bulls in somebody else's plantation. So it's all about entertainment for massa. It's all about that. And to see our guys, because like I said, I just saw I'm trying to validate it. We'll try to check to see if it's really legit. But there's some things now coming out about Travis Hunter saying that, we know his dad's situation. He just got arrested and stuff like that. He says he was in the house and the monitor stopped working when he went into the bedroom and came right back. So they rearrested him because, 3 minutes, the thing didn't work. Mm-hmm. But now the thing is, there's been some complaints in the training camp saying he's not focused enough. He's doing what he's supposed to do, but he's not focused enough because the wife posted, the new wife, who everybody told him not to marry.
Oh Lord!
You can't tell these kids nothing.
You can't tell them, right?
You can't tell them nothing.
You can't tell them nothing. Now she's posting things saying she's afraid.
Hey y'all, he was in love.
No, that's some dysfunctional stuff going down there.
You know that.
Yeah, he won't be a savior. I don't know what's going on. That was horrible.
I'm trying to help you, Trav. I'm trying to help you out there. It ain't working out too good right now.
He's gonna have to learn. He'll be out of that marriage soon, but he's gonna pay a few dollars.
But no. He's gonna pay quite a few dollars. This fool refused to even do a prenup.
No prenup.
He refused to do a prenup.
He was drunk in love, Reggie. He was living off of love.
No. You know what?
No.
The boy.
I hope he gets out fast.
The boy is gifted because he's still within a year. He can get it a no if he was smart. His mother's trying to tell him he needs to get out.
Good. She needs to be talking to him.
Out of what we're saying, I am just so undone with our professional athletes because I'm just so sick. Thank you, Jesus. Sick. No one. I mean, and the whole NFL.
Blame the victim.
All of them. There's no generational wealth being created because you're giving it right back to massa. And this girl, Travis Hunter's wife, she is playing him like a fine-tuned fiddle.
Well, Bernie Mac said that's how the white man get his money back. Remember?
Exactly. They give them all the millions they want. They give it right back.
Yeah, but we give it back anyway. Yeah,
give it
Linda
right back to
Darrell.
him. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, when it comes to Shadur and things like that, I would have, it's another guy. What's his name? He's trying to be traded. He wants to be traded.
Oh yeah, you must be talking about the guy in DC.
DC, right? Oh yeah, right,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, 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 yeah.
At the end of the day, why should Shadur, with all, I mean, he that guy knows he can play. I just believe sometimes it's better to walk away from the table instead of sitting there with letting people treat you any kind of way. They knew they couldn't hurt him because he's already filthy rich. They knew they couldn't change his swag. They knew that he couldn't change his technical, physical agility, ability, everything else. So
Mm-hmm.
they are just going to keep messing with that kid. The moment they told him he's the fourth string quarterback, I would have called my agent and said, look, I don't care what we got to do. Get me out of this contract, because there's no way I would play for a team that would let Joe Flacco be the number one quarterback when he is just as washed up as,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to call the other name because everybody likes him. But again, you have Cousins and all of those other guys. They are nowhere in the league. I mean, Shadur's stats have already surpassed a lot what these great white hopes have been. And yet still, you're going to let this man insult you further by saying, like, you're going to be the fourth string quarterback. I would have a sick out. I would be sick. I would buy me a case of
The whole
Phenomint.
team got the flu, huh, Reggie? Everybody.
I would buy a case of Phenomint, and every game I would say, I got the runs.
Now, before I bring you in, Myneca, on a parallel universe, LeBron James has been meeting with Nikola Jokic. We call him Joker, and he plays for the Denver Nuggets. He's been meeting him along with his business partner and business facilitator, really, Maverick Carter. Right. They are meeting, and they are now saying we're not going to wait for the NBA to award us a franchise. We are going to work on a global basketball league.
Oh, wow.
And I'm bringing that in, and they're trying. I think it's about about $5 billion in there. Could ride.
Yep, change the game
instantly. Yeah. It sounds like $5 billion might be involved to get this started. And I want to stay on Shadur, but I'm only bringing that up in this context. Is that players have to get the memo early enough to know that they are not allowed in the upper room of the club.
Thank you.
So even though, because LeBron has been lobbying to be in front or considered for the Las Vegas expansion when that happens with the NBA, but now I kind of feel like that they made sure that the prices of these teams would go up so high that he couldn't contend with it. I'm not saying it's all about him, because it's always about getting the most money you can get. But, I mean, we're talking about in a short period of time, teams have gone from being maybe 500 million to now 10 billion for the Lakers.
Right, exactly.
So I think that there is a definite effort that they want him retired and they want him out. They do not want an empowered, right? They do not want an empowered, inside the house. Michael Jordan was more at playing along and things like that. So he got in by way of Bob Johnson. But I'm saying that because Shadur represents that kind of lineage of strong, confident, competent, excellent Black man who doesn't, give a rip about what you think about him. So, Myneca, I wanted to put that context out there. Go ahead, Myneca.
I don't know. It's a good question, but I really love the idea that someone is thinking about changing the game, because anytime you make any type of strides, just as you said about Shadur and and his stats. That his stats are excellent. He's doing a wonderful job in training. I mean, he's ready, he's prepared, he's ready to go. And he has the perfect mentor, who is his dad, to help him move forward. But just as you had said earlier, he's very wealthy. He's already wealthy. So you can't dangle a carrot in front of him in terms of money. This is very strategic. But at the end of the day, Shadur wants to play. I don't think it really matters to him whether he plays with the Cleveland Browns or if he plays with someone else, or even if there were to start a new league, and say for hypothetically, someone started a football league and he was brought in on the ground floor and able to participate in some manner. I think he just wants to play.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is often to the case. That is often to the credit of these sons of notable legends. I can say the same thing for LeBron's son Bronny. They say he's very humble, an excellent teammate. He's been honest to the press about the after effects of his cardiac arrest, and that these are really sincere young men that are trying to do it the right way and not on their father's names. I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And they are individuals, and each of these individuals know, what they need to do. But collectively, when they see that, the sons or even the daughters of these famous stars are now playing and they're being mentored in the right direction, they're mentored on how to negotiate contracts, on what to ask for, the rights in terms of endorsement deals. All of those things come into play. They're now being that. And it changes the game, because what happens, just as they do in any corporate America setting, is that they're not looking for the best. Americans are not, American corporations, no matter how they are not looking for the best. Yeah. So that could be a whole other conversation, because if the best were there, we would be at the top of the game, and we're no longer at the top of the game. They just want people that will play along with them to get them to the next step. They're looking at short-term gains. They're not looking at long-term legacy. Those days are gone in this country. It's gone in corporate America. It's gone in state government, local government, county government. It's about short-term gains for individuals. And so until we begin to work and center around collectiveness and center about, sustainability, we are not going to succeed in this country. And it's reflected in our federal government right now. And something as essential and something as simple as stats in sports. Like, why is sports even at a point that we no longer have a gentleman's agreement or a gentle ladies agreement, that the best one with the best stats is going to be number one.
It was supposed to be the less meritocracy.
Right. Yeah, what we're seeing is a lack of leadership in corporate America, and a lack of leadership because people have money and they're using their bully pulpit to advance themselves. They're not thinking about anyone else coming behind them. They're not thinking about what that team is going to look like 20 years from now.
Right.
What they're doing for their kids.
They also know if somebody like LeBron James is successful doing a new global league, that's going to be passed down to football and everything else. And because of the fact, the reality is that we have proven in any sport that once we get into it, we dominate. So
what's really going to be the thing is if any of these things get traction and take money away
the NFL, because
from the other leagues.
Exactly. When they put together a whole new league like that on a global platform like that and stuff like that, it will shut down the NFL within a matter of less than 5 to 10 years. Because at the end of the day, everybody will be competing at a greater level on their merit and not off of this plantation stuff.
That's what happening in college football by virtue of young black talent chose HBCUs more. Yes. So you had a lot of top players, which Travis Hunter was one of them.
Well, was one of them. He's still
Travis Hunter kind of started this now 4 or 5 years ago.
Exactly.
That he chose to go to Jackson State with Dion. instead of going to an SEC powerhouse.
Exactly.
And then he left Jackson and went to Colorado. He chose relationship over what we would think as opportunity. But I was gonna say, is it fair to say, guys? I'm gonna say something boldly. And Archbishop, I'm gonna need you to kind of check me spiritually on this one. I'm gonna need Archbishop to hold me back on this one. But I'm gonna ask a question. Should we now be looking at everything through two lenses, and those two lenses, not now I'm saying this notwithstanding our relationship with God. Okay, so I'll put that down. But should we look at everything through two lenses as a Black community, through business and family? And when I'm saying that way, what I'm saying now is that everything we do has to be in interest of business and the preservation of family. Is that a fair way of saying that? Because we talked about the integration and wanting to get along and things like that, but it seems like that's been pretty much a pretty still. Am I wrong to say that we should do like the LeBron Jameses of the world? Like, I've had to do with my tech company. I have intentionally left out many investors, other players. I've had famous investors come wanting to have a hand in my company, but we made a commitment to preserve at least up to this point or whatever, Now I ain't gonna sit up here and put myself in trouble. One day somebody come with a certain amount of money, I could take it, but just know that it's going to the family. All right, it's going to us. In business, you make smart decisions. So that's the capitalist in me talking. So y'all not gonna trip me up and pull this video later and say I'll never sell. I ain't say that now, but I'm saying that what I do is in the best interest of our people and the family. So am I saying this correctly? Somebody check me if I'm not saying it.
One of the things that we really have to do is in the process of reestablishing the Black family, we will, once we start doing the attack has been on the Black family, okay, for since forever. But anyhow, here's the deal: Black family, Black community, Black business. Black business, our communities have to have something to sustain themselves economically. If they do not, they will fall. And I'm going to be honest with you, is that we need to start looking from within. We need to have a nationalistic mindset of our own that is separate and apart from them. Okay, yes, you want to invest. We'll take some of your money, but you're not going to get all of this. Okay, we'll give you a dividend. We'll do whatever, but we have to learn how our businesses, our families, our communities need to support each other. Okay, that is where the clash has been, because they've been pitting us against each other since Willie Lynch taught them how to teach us to hate each other. So until then, yes, business, family, community. You can't have the family and not influence the community, but the community has to be representative of the family. Okay, so in other words, you just like they're creating white communities, in Arkansas and other places, let's be realistic, like they don't already exist.
Thank you. Exactly.
That's what we need to be doing. Okay, just like those what was a couple of weeks ago, about a month or so ago, the white supremacists went and they tried to get in, and they were met with black folks that told them we're not going to have this here. They went to the wrong neighborhood. Okay. All right. And see, that's the kind of mentality we need to have. We need to have pride in ourselves, separate and apart from, this nationalistic thing that they're trying to tell us we're a part of, that we keep on struggling with.
Right.
And I want us to really look at, where do we go from here?
Right.
Do we keep, excuse my French, do I keep kissing the master's behind and begging for crumbs? And begging for crumbs? Or do I leave him and say, you want to know something? I can make my own cake over here.
Yes. Yes.
And until we understand, until we understand that we can make our own cake.
We can make our own cake.
But if we use the same ingredients that they use,
but their ingredients
has to be different.
Their ingredients, the ingredients are the ingredients. Okay, but I don't have to get my ingredients from them.
Exactly.
I can get it from us.
They got the ingredients from us.
You see, one of the problems is that in the black community, the dollar doesn't even circulate one good time in the community.
Right.
In the Ashkenazi Jewish community, it circulates a minimum of 7 to 12 times.
Yes.
In the white community, it's 6 to 8 times. It circulates in their community before it goes outside.
Exactly.
Okay. But we're taking our dollars and we're giving it to them rather than building our own stuff. And the reason why we don't build our own stuff anymore, and I hate to say this, is because we have defeated so many times.
Yes.
That we figure, well, if I do, I'm damned. If I do, I might as well. No.
Yeah.
See, because now we have to have some brass cojones and stand up to tyranny, stand up to injustice, and let them understand. Me personally, I'm not having this anymore.
And that's it.
Okay, and if I die, I die. But you want to know something?
Hey, thank you.
I'm not Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And as a matter of fact, at the end of his right before they assassinated him, he was talking about, hey, maybe I should have done this a different way.
That's right.
Because I think I led our people into a burning house.
Exactly.
And so Malcolm told you, listen, we're not violent.
Right.
But we are going to defend ourselves.
We're going to defend ourselves. Exactly.
Right. I think that's the conversation. The conversation with the proactiveness of LeBron doing this Euro League or this global league. Because one, he sees that he does not have a chance of ownership probably anytime soon.
That's right. And that's crazy. After he built the league, he built the league.
He built the league. He created the value, the current value it holds.
The current value.
And he also understands that we have to understand the past 6 MVPs of the NBA are non-American. They have been European and Canadian. The last one is Canadian, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's black, but he's Canadian. So the face of the league is not emerging as a U.S. face.
Exactly.
I had a great conversation with my wife in terms of this whole thing that happened to Luka, of how they treated Luka, and we have to remember Luka is from, even though he's white male, he is from the Slavic countries, which were the lower class, and they've had their own problems, with their own form of civil rights, where they come from. So you're looking at what you consider those who have been, and that's the same type of background Nikola Jokic comes from. So now you're getting this coming together of the exceptional oppressed people that have who have attained a certain wealth, and they're going to leverage their current status to go ahead and build their own. And I think that we have come into a place that building our own has become the only option, because trying to do it in the current system has been a moving goalpost. You know, the only reason why we have been stunted in progress as a community is because the goalpost has constantly moved. It's just as simple as student loan forgiveness. We had it and then we didn't have it. You know, Supreme Court jumped in and killed that. So people don't get a chance for an opportunity because those who are key in that happening are constantly changing the goalposts. So I'm going to leave it there today, guys. I think this was a really good conversation.
We have to get back into this one, though.
We might have to dedicate a bit more to it in a deeper dive, and we'll bring up some more things about it. But everybody, thank you all so much for being a part of the What Now community, and the Believe Broadcasting community. And I want you to make sure that you check out Bishop's book, which is coming out real soon.
That's right.
All right. So get ready. That's happening. And we're going to keep you updated on all the things that's going on. And make sure you like, share, and subscribe to all of our channels here on Believe Broadcasting. Support all the things we have for the community so that we can keep on building our own. And we look forward to everything. So we appreciate you guys. We love you. And we'll catch you the next time.
All right. See ya.
Blessings.